All right, in this video, we are going to read through and play through this book called Lone Wolf, which is available for free online. The very first book in the series is called Flight from the Dark. And I remembered reading these when I was a kid, and now they're available for free online. So I hope you enjoy listening to me read through and play the book, and I hope it encourages you to check them out for yourself. Excuse me. All right, here we go. Lone Wolf. You are the sole survivor of a devastating attack on the monastery where you were learning the skills of the Kai lords. You swear vengeance on the Dark Lords for the massacre of the Kai warriors. And with a sudden flash of insight, you know what you must do. You must set off on a perilous journey to the capital city to warn the king of the terrible threat that faces his people. For you are now the last of the Kai. You are now Lone Wolf. Read online. You are Lone Wolf. In a devastating attack, the Dark Lords have destroyed the monastery where you are learning the skills of the Kai Lords. You are the sole survivor. In Flight from the Dark, you swear revenge. First, you must reach home, going to warn the king of the gathering evil. Relentlessly, the servants of darkness hunt you across their country, and every turn of the page presents a new challenge. Choose your skills and your weapons carefully. They can help you succeed in this fantastic and terrifying journey of your life. Joe Deaver, the creator of the best-selling lone wolf adventure books and novels, has achieved worldwide recognition in three creative fields. Excuse me. As an award-winning author of international renown, as an acclaimed musician and composer, and as a game designer specializing in role-playing games. On graduating from college in 1974, Joe Deaver became a professional musician. For several years, he worked in the music industry in Europe and the United States. While working in Los Angeles in 1977, he discovered a then little-known game called Dungeons and Dragons. Although the game was in its infancy, Joe at once realized its huge potential and began designing his own role-playing games along similar conceptual lines. These first games were to form the basis of a fantasy world called Magnamund, which later became the setting of the Lone Wolf books. 5 years later, in 1982, at the Origins Game Fair, Joe won the Advanced Dungeons and Dragons World Championships in Baltimore, an event held before 16,000 people. Inspired and encouraged by his success at Origins, Joe decided to quit the music business and devote his time to writing and game design. In 1983, after a brief spell at Games Workshop in London, he wrote Flight from the Dark, the first Lone Wolf interactive game. His manuscript immediately attracted a frenzy of interest from three major London publishing companies, all of whom bid for world rights. Joe accepted an offer of publication from Hutchinson's, later to become Century Hutchinson Limited, now Random House UK, and Flight from the Dark was first published in 1984. This first book sold more than 100,000 copies within its first month of publication, and overseas rights were snapped up by 12 countries, including the United States, France, Germany, Japan, Italy, and Sweden. The success of Joe's first book laid the foundations for the future of the Lone Wolf series, which has sold millions of copies around the world. The Lone Wolf series ended after 28 books and 14 years. Joe has continued to work in the games industry as a scriptwriter and games design consultant. Gary Chalk, the illustrator of the early Lone Wolf series, was born in 1952, grew up in Hertfordshire. Being interested in history, he began playing war games at the age of 15. When he graduated from college with a Bachelor of Arts in Design, Gary spent 3 years training in the studio before becoming a teacher in art and design. Gary was working as a children's book illustrator, and he became involved in adventure gaming, an interest which eventually led to the creation of several successful games. He is the inventor/illustrator of some of Britain's biggest selling fantasy games, including Crawley Hummock, Starship Captain, and Battle Cars, co-designed with Ian Livingstone. He is also known for his work on the very successful game Talisman. Gary was working at Games Workshop when Joe Deaver asked him to illustrate some of the landscape of Flight from the Dark. The two teamed up after that, and they continued to work together until the 8th book in the series, Jungle of Horrors. Gary has also drawn the illustrations in Redwall and related books, the Prince of Shadows gamebook series, and several books which he also authored. Gary continues to enjoy wargaming and works as an illustrator and lawmaker. Now we skip forward to Mel and Yin. Forward, acknowledges. We're going to skip acknowledgements, we're going to skip credits. The story so far. In the northern land of Summerland, it has been custom for many centuries to send the children of the warrior lords to the monastery of Kai. There they are taught the skills and disciplines of their noble fathers. The Kai monks are masters of their art, and the children in their charge love and respect them in spite of the hardships of their training. For one day, When they have finally learned the secret skills of the Kai, they will return to their homes equipped in mind and body to defend themselves against the constant threat of war from the Dark Lords of the West. In olden times, during the age of the Black Moon, the Dark Lords waged war on Summerland. The conflict was a long and bitter trial of strength that ended in victory for the Somnending at the great battle of Makengorg. King Ulnar and the allies of Durinor broke the Darkland armies at the pass of Moitura and forced them back into the bottomless abyss of Makengorg. Vashna, mightiest of the Dark Lords, was slain upon the sword of King Ulnar, called Summer Sword, the sword of the sun. Since that age, the Dark Lords have vowed vengeance upon Summerland and the House of Ulnar. Now it is in the morning of the feast of Firman, when all the Kai Lords are present at the monastery for the celebrations. Suddenly, a great black cloud comes from out of the western skies. So many are the numbers of the black-winged beasts that fill the sky that the sun is completely hidden. The Dark Lords, ancient enemy of the Somnending, are attacking. War has begun. On the fateful morning, you, Silent Wolf, the name given to you by the Kai, have been sent forward to collect firewood in the forest as a punishment for your inattention in class. As you are preparing to return, you see to your horror a vast cloud of black leathery creatures swoop down and engulf the monastery. Dropping the wood, you race to the battle that has already begun, but in the unnatural dark you stumble and strike your head on a low tree branch. As you lose consciousness, the last thing that you see in the poor light is the walls of the monastery crashing to the ground. Many hours pass before you awake. With tears in your eyes, you now survey the scene of destruction. Raising your face to the clear sky, you swear vengeance on the Dark Lords for the massacre of the Kai warriors. And with a sudden flash of realization, you know what you must do. You must set off on a perilous journey to the capital city to warn the king of the terrible threat that now faces his people. For you are now the last of the Kai. You are now Lone Wolf. Game roles. You keep a record of your adventures on the action chart. During your training as a Kai Lord, you have developed fighting powers, combat skill, physical stamina, endurance. Before you set off on your adventure, you need to make a measure of how effective your training has been. To do this, take a pencil and with your eyes closed, point with the blunt end of it onto the random number table. If you pick 0, it counts as 0. The first number that you pick from the random number table presents combat skill. Add 10 to the number you pick. Write that in combat skill. The second number you pick is endurance. Add 20 to that number, etc., etc. Kai disciplines. Over the centuries, Kai monks have mastered the skills of the warrior. These skills are known as Kai disciplines, and they are taught to all Kai Lords. You have learned only 5 of these skills listed below. The choice of which 5 skills these are is for you to make. As all of the disciplines may be of use to you at some point on your perilous quest, pick your 5 with care. The correct use of a discipline at the right time can save your life. When you have chosen your 5 disciplines, enter them in the Kai discipline sections of your action chart. Camouflage, hunting, sixth sense, tracking, healing, weapon skill, mind shield, mind blast, animal kinship. All right, I'm gonna pick 5. Let's see. Camouflage, sixth sense, healing, weapon skill, mind blast. All right, so camouflage, sixth sense, healing, weapon skill, and mind blast. Forward. Equipment. You are dressed in the green tunic and cloak of Kai Initiate. You have little with you to arm yourself for survival. All you possess is an axe. Note under the weapons on your action chart and a backpack containing 1 meal. Note under the meals on your action chart. Hanging from your waist is a leather pouch containing gold crowns. To find out how many, pick a number from the random number table. This number equals the number of gold crowns you possess at the start of the adventure. You discover amongst the smoking ruins of the monastery a map of Summerland. Place the map inside your tunic for safety. You also find one of the following: sword, helmet, 2 meals, chainmail waistcoat, mace, healing potion, quarterstaff, spear, gold crowns, broadsword. To discover which of the above you find, you must pick a number from the random number table and find the corresponding article on the list. Note this on your action chart under the heading given in brackets. Make a note of any effect it has on your endurance points. Now that you have your equipment, the following list shows you how it is carried. You don't need to make notes, but you can refer back to this list in the course of your adventure. Sword, hand, helmet, head, food, backpack, chainmail, body, mace, hand, healing potion, backpack, quarterstaff, hand, spear, hand, gold crowns, belt pouch, broadsword, hand. How much can you carry? Weapons. The maximum number of weapons you may carry is 2. Backpack items. Backpack items are stored in your backpack. You may keep 8 articles, including meals, in your backpack. Special items are not carried in your backpack. When you discover a special item, you'll be told how to carry it. Gold crowns are in your belt pouch, which can hold 50 crowns. Food carried in your backpack. Any item that may be of use and can be picked up on your adventure and entered on your action chart is given capital letters in the text, unless you are told there's a special item carried in your backpack. How to use your equipment, weapons, backpack, special items, gold crowns, food, healing potion. Rules for combat. There will be occasions on your adventure when you have to fight an enemy. Enemy's combat skill and endurance points are given in the text. Sequence for combat, etc., etc. Evasion from combat. During your adventure, you may be given the chance to evade combat. If you have already engaged in a round of combat and decide to evade, calculate combat for that round in the usual manner. All points lost by the enemy as a result of that round are ignored, and you make their escape. Only Lone Wolf may lose endurance points during that round, but then that is the risk of running away. You may only evade if the text of a particular section allows you to do so. Levels of Kai training. The following table is a guide to the ranks and titles that are bestowed upon Kai Lords at each stage in their training. As you successfully complete each adventure in the Lone Wolf series, you will gain an additional Kai discipline and gradually progress towards mastery of the 10 basic Kai disciplines. Level 1, Novice. 2, Intuit. 3, Doan. 4, Acolyte. 5, Initiate. You begin the Lone Wolf adventures with this level of Kai training. 6, Aspirant. 7, Guardian. 8, Warmorn or Journeyman. 9, Savant. 10, Master. Beyond the 10 basic skills of the Kai Master await the secrets of the higher Kai disciplines or Magna Kai. By acquiring the wisdom of the Magna Kai, the Kai Lord can progress towards the ultimate achievement and become Kai Grand Master. Kai Wisdom. Your mission will be one of great danger, for the Dark Lords and their servants are cruel and fierce enemy who give and expect no mercy. Use the map to help you steer a correct course to the capital. Make notes as you progress through the story, for they are both great help in future adventures. Many things that you find will aid you during the adventure. Some special items will be of use in future Lone Wolf adventures. And others may be red herrings of no use at all. So be selective in what you decide to keep. There are many routes to the king, but only one involves a minimum of danger. With a wise choice of Kai disciplines and a great deal of courage, any player should be able to complete the mission, no matter how weak their initial combat skill or endurance was. The honor and memory of the Kai Lords will go with you on your perilous journey. Good luck. Flight from the dawn. You must make haste, for you sense it is not safe to linger by the smoky ruins of the ruined monastery. The black-winged beast can return at any moment. You must set out for the Somnolent capital of Holmgard and tell the king the terrible news of the massacre, that the whole elite of Kai warriors, save yourself, have been slaughtered. Without the Kai Lords to lead her armies, Summerland will be at the mercy of their ancient enemy, the Dark Lords. Fighting back tears, you bid farewell to your dead kinsmen. Silently, you promise that their death will be avenged. You turn away from the ruins and carefully descend the steep track. At the foot of the hill, the path splits into 2 directions, both leading into a large wood. If you wish to use your Kai discipline of Sixth Sense, if you wish to take the right path, if you wish to use the left track. Sixth Sense. Ding. Your Sixth Sense has warned you that some of the creatures that attack the monastery are searching the 2 paths for any survivors of their raid, but you can avoid both tracks by making your way through the undergrowth of the woods. If you wish to head south, or if you wish to cut through the heavier foliage towards the northeast, turn to 333. Uh-oh. Okay, I'm at 141. I want to look at that map. Wait, is that the right map? Where am I? Okay, monastery. All right. I don't know if I should go north. I think I want to go south because I want to go over to him or something. All right, I want to go south. All right, so how do I get there? Boop, boop. Okay, figure out. Boop, boop. Head south. You hear the scream of a large winged beast above the trees. It is Kron, the deadly servant of the Dark Lords. Quickly, you hide beneath the thick fronds of fern until the horrible shrieks are passed away. As you go on, you discover a forest path that divides at the point to join it. If you wish to use your Kai discipline of tracking, 10 to 67. I don't have tracking. All right, I'm going to use the east port. In the center of a small clearing, you see a group of humans talking excitedly and gesturing wildly with their hands. There are two children, 3 men and a woman. Their belongings are wrapped in bundles, which they carry slung over their shoulders. Their clothes look well made and expensive, but they are dirty and torn. If you wish to approach them and ask who they are, if you wish to avoid them and continue on your mission, I will approach them and ask who they are. As you approach, the group of people stop talking. You can see by their expressions that they recognize your green Kai cloak. Slowly, one of the men extends his hand in friendship and says, "My lord, we had heard a rumor that the Kai were destroyed. Heaven be praised that it is not so. We feared all was lost." You do not tell them of the destruction of the monastery, for they are refugees from Toran and have lost everything they owed. Their only hope now is that the Kai Lords will lead an army to victory. You learn that the northern port was attacked from both air and sea, and that the forces of the Dark Lords far outnumbered the king's brave garrison. You reassure them that Summerland will not fall, and wish them luck on their journey ahead. You have reached a small bridge. A track follows the stream towards the east. A much narrower path disappears into the thick forest towards the south. Yes, I have success. Your Kai sixth sense warns that there is a fierce battle raging in the south. Your common sense tells you that the south is also the quickest route to the capital. To battle! The forest begins to thin out until finally you can make out a road through the trees ahead. The highway is full of people heading south. Many are wheeling their possessions along on hand carts. If you wish to join the refugees and perhaps learn more of what has happened in the north, if you'd prefer to continue to move south and under the cover of the trees, I'm going to join the refugees. The people look tired and hungry. They have come many miles from their burning city. Suddenly, you hear the beat of huge wings coming from the north. Kron! Kron! Hide yourselves! The cry goes up all along the road. Just in front of you, a wagon carrying small children breaks down, its right wheel jammed in a furrow. The children scream in panic. Do you wish to help the children? Help the children! You sprint towards the wagon. People are running everywhere in panic as the Crown make their attack, carrying their poor victims off into the darkening sky. A large Kran is hovering above the wagon, and 3 snarling Giaks drop from its back on to the startled horses. You must fight them, or leave the wagon and run to the safety of a nearby farmhouse. Fight the Giaks! The ghoulish creatures thrust their spears at you and attack. Fight these creatures as a single enemy. I'm going to assume that I win. Kicking open the door, you dive into the farmhouse. A Kron soars overhead, letting out a shriek of victory, a victim hanging in its claws. Getting to your feet, you find yourself alone, but propped against the fireplace is a warhammer. You may take this weapon if you wish. If you want to stay in the farmhouse, if you'll feel safer in the forest, you wish to search the room further. Search room further. Most of the cupboards and drawers are empty. Whoever lived here took nearly everything they owned with them, but you do manage to scrape together enough fruit in the cellar for one meal. You may mark this on your action check. After nearly an hour, the Kran and their cruel riders vanish towards the west. As the shocked refugees start to emerge from the woods, you can hear the sound of horses in the distance galloping nearer. You stay hidden, and wait as riders come closer. They are the cavalry of the king's guard, wearing the white uniforms of his majesty's armor. If you wish to call them, call them. The officer orders his men to halt and ask you your business. You tell him who you are and how the monastery has been destroyed. He is deeply saddened to hear your news. He offers you a horse and asks you to accompany him to Prince Pelethar, the king's son. I accept. Ahead of you, you see a fierce battle raging across a stone bridge. The clash of steel and the cries of men and beasts echo through the forest. In the midst of the fighting, you see Prince Pelethar, the king's son. He is in combat with a large gray Gurgaz who is wielding a black axe above his scaly head. Suddenly, the prince falls wounded, a black arrow in his side. Defend the prince! The creature that you now face is a Garagaz, one of a race of cold-blooded reptilian creatures that dwell deep in the treacherous Mockenmire swamps. Their favorite food is human flesh. The prince's sword lies at your feet. You may pick it up and use this weapon if you wish. The Garagaz is about to strike you. You must fight him to the death. If you win, come to 82. The giant Garagaz lies dead at your feet. His evil followers hiss at you and then fall back from the bridge. The prince's soldiers form a protective wall around you and their dying leader with their shield. Black arrows whistle past your head. The dying prince looks up into your eyes and says, Kylord, you must take a message to my father. The enemy is too strong. We cannot hold him. The king must seek that which is in Durinor, or all is lost. Take my horse and ride for the capital. May the luck of the gods ride with you. You bid a sad farewell to the prince, mounts his white steed, and heads south along the forest path. The battle still rages behind you as the prince's men fight off another assault on the bridge. The prince's horse is indeed a magnificent animal, fast and sure of foot. You gallop along the twisting track as if it were a straight highway until the noise of battle has disappeared far behind you. You are hungry and you must eat a meal during the ride. After several miles, the path stops abruptly at a junction. There's a signpost. It has been blocked up. If you wish to use tracking, if you wish to turn left, if you wish to turn right, I'm just going to turn right. You have ridden about a mile when you are knocked from your horse by an arrow grazing your forehead. You lose 3 endurance points. As you pull yourself to your feet, you see a patrol of Drakarim emerge from the woods on either side of the road. You have been ambushed and must evade them as quickly as possible by going into the forest. You are dizzy from your wound, and you stumble through the trees like a blind man. Suddenly, you fall forward as if the ground has been snatched from beneath your feet. You have fallen headfirst into a hunting pit. As you look up, you can see 4 Drakarim leveling their bows at you, evil sneers spreading simultaneously across their ugly faces. As the world darkens, the last thing you feel is the black shafts of their arrows deep in your chest. You have failed in your mission. Well, that's not good. We choose a different path. We go left. You've ridden about 3 miles when, in the distance, you spot the unmistakable silhouette of the largest dune wolves. Riding on their backs are Gyats. They seem to be going on ahead to where the path leads into an open meadow. Suddenly, one of the Gyats leaves the others and begins to ride back along the path towards you. If you wish to hide in the undergrowth and let him pass, turn. If you wish to fight, I'm going to let him pass. You hide behind some thick bushes so that the dune wolf and its rider will not see your white horse. Luckily, it works. The beast lopes past and vanishes down the track that you have just come along. If you wish to attack the remaining dune wolves and their riders, no. I want to go deeper into the forest. You ride deeper and deeper into the forest. Silently, you thank the prince for such a fine horse. For although the ground is a tangle of briars and roots, he never once falters. The dune wolves are soon left far behind, and you bring your horse to a halt. The light has faded, and it is almost night. If you wish to press on ahead, no. If you wish to bear left, press on. You have covered about 2 miles when the trees ahead thin out. You can see a small wooden shack on the edge of a lake. The cloaked man approaches you and offers to row you and your horse across the lake for a fee of 2 gold crowns. If you had the kind discipline of 6 cents, oh yeah. You sense something is wrong. With fighting all around and the forces of the Dark Lords are near, why has this man stayed in the forest? You feel a strange aura of evil about him and decline his offer. Night falls, and soon you are engulfed in total darkness. To press on would be useless, for you would be sure to lose your way. Tethering your horse to a tree, you pull your green kite cloak about you and fall into a restless sleep. You are awoken by the sound of troops in the distance. Across the lake, you see the black cloaked figures of Dracarib and a pack of Dumals and their riders. A Kran appears from above the trees and lands on the roof of the small wooden shack. It is ridden by a creature dressed in red. The Kran takes off and begins to fly across the lake to where you are hidden. If you wish to use the Kai discipline of camouflage, yes, camouflage. You coax the horse to lie down and begin to cover him and yourself with branches and dead leaves. You hear the wings of the Kran as it passes over the trees. It returns and circles above. But soon retreats back across the lake. You decide to leave now in case it returns with some of its friends. As you push on into the forest, you hear the wings of the Kran pass over the trees and disappear northwards. You ride on for nearly an hour until you come to a clearing. On the far side is a track that leads off to the south. If you wish to enter the clearing and take the south exit, if you would rather skirt the edge of the clearing and pick up the track further on. Yeah, I'm going to skirt the edge of the clearing. You spur your horse to a gallop and race down the long, straight path. In the far distance, you can just make out the silhouette of Holmgard on the horizon, its high walls and tall spires glinting in the morning sun. Your path joins a highway running from north to south. It is the main turnpike road between the northern points of Turan and the capital. You set off towards Holmgard, your eyes peeled for Kran in the clear morning sky. You have ridden several miles and have seen no signs of refugees or of the enemy. You race on towards a high ridge in the middle distance. You should be able to see the capital from there. As you reach the peak, the sight that meets you on the far side is one of hope. But there is one challenge you know you have to face. Before you are the tall gray-white walls and glimmering spires of Holmgard, the city's banners fluttering from the battlements in the fresh morning breeze. Stretching out towards the west, the river Eladil traces its course from the mountains of the Dern Crag range to the Holmgard. But below the mountain peaks, you see a vast black army marching relentlessly on towards the capital. To your right, you can see the highway heading off over the rolling plain towards Holmgard. At a gallop, you can make the outer fieldworks of the city's defenses in less than an hour. You'd be in the open for most of the time and vulnerable to attack by the Kran. Directly ahead of you, a wide river drifts sluggishly towards the Eladil. If you abandoned your horse, you could swim towards the outer defenses under cover of the river banks. Or there's a final alternative. To your left lies the graveyard of the ancients. These tombs and crumbling monuments of a forgotten world conceal your approach, but it is a forbidden area. Many are the unnamed horrors that lie there in restless sleep, waiting to consume the unwary trespasser. I think I am going to. Take the highway. Urging your horse forward, you gallop down the long stretch of highway towards the capital. After only a few minutes, your horse suddenly falls, slows, and finally limps to a halt. You dismount and examine its right foreleg. You curse your ill luck, for you see that it has thrown a shoe and injured its hoof quite badly. You'll have to leave him here and proceed on foot as quickly as you can. Bracing yourself for the run, you head off towards the ridge, down the ridge at a steady pace. To the west, the army of the Dark Lords looks like a giant pot of black ink that has been spilled between the mountains and is spreading into the land below. You've been running for about 20 minutes when you catch sight of a pack of Doomlords lining a shadow ridge to your right. You decide to flatten yourself against the rocks along the side of the road and wait until they pass. You decide to carry on running but draw your weapon. I'm going to hide. You are lucky. They do not seem to have spotted you. You slowly move on and have soon disappeared along the far side of the ridge. You continue your run. You are sweating and your legs ache. In the middle distance, you can see a group of cottages. If you wish to enter a cottage and rest for a while, turn to 115. Rest. You stumble into the first building and fall to the floor exhausted. You can smell cooked meat. You notice a small cauldron hanging over the embers of a dying fire, and a large oak table that has been set for meal. Whoever lived here must have left in a great hurry this very morning. There's water in a jug and a loaf of fresh bread on the table. Quick meal? Search the building? Search the building first. You search all the cupboards in the small cottage, but do not find anything of use or value. You decide that you have wasted enough time here and must press on without further delay. You have run about a mile when three soldiers appear from beneath a small footbridge. They demand that you halt and drop your weapons and equipment. They are blood-stained and unshaven. Their leader is wearing the tunic of a soldier of the Toron garrison. If you possess sixth sense, these men are not what they seem. The tunic of the leader is genuine, but it is heavily blood-stained around the collar, as if its true owner had been murdered. Their weapons are not army issue, but expensive and lavishly decorated like the weapons made by the armorers of Durham. The leader has a crossbow slung over his back. An attempt to run would be suicide. You decide that you must fight them, or you will surely be murdered as soon as you drop your weapon. If they see you raise your weapon, and they instantly attack you. If you decide to fight them, you must fight them one at a time. Right, I kill them. The soldiers lie dead at your feet. They were banditos who were stealing from the refugees of Tehran and from the abandoned houses and farms in the area. Searching their backpacks, you find 28 gold crowns, 2 backpacks containing enough food for 3 meals. They have been armed with a crossbow and 3 swords. The crossbow has been damaged in the fight, but the swords are untouched, and you may keep one if you wish. You adjust your equipment, give a cautious glance towards the west, and continue your run towards the outer defenses of the capital. You reach the main gate of the capital, stare in awe at the height of the city's walls. 200 feet high, the walls of Homeguard have withstood the ravages of both time and the Dark Lords. You and the officer race through the tunnel of the inner gatehouse, 100 yards in length, and finally halt outside the doorway of the main watchtower. Great crowds of soldiers and civilians are running to and fro. If you wish to continue following the officer, if you feel that you stand a better chance of making your way to the King's Citadel on your own, I will follow the officer. Staying close to the officer, you follow him through an arched portal and up a short flight of stairs to a long hall. Soldiers run back and forth bearing orders on ornate scrolls to officers stationed around the city wall. A haggard and scar-faced man dressed in white and purple robes of the king's court approaches you and bids you follow him to the citadel. All right, I'll follow you. You follow the man into a small library off the main hall. He pushes one of the many books on the shelves which line all 4 walls, and you hear a metallic click. One section of the bookcase slowly hides back to reveal a passage. If you wish to follow the man into the passage, if you do not want to enter the dark corridor, I don't like this dark corridor. You fight your way through the press of bodies along the main street toward the citadel in the distance. City folk are rushing to and fro in the grip of panic, and as the cries of Kron are heard circling high above. In the crush, one item is stolen from your backpack. If you no longer have a backpack, you lose a weapon. A runaway horse and a cart careen past you and knock you into a doorway. You are stunned and you lose 2 endurance points. As you stagger to your feet, the door bursts open, and a decrepit old man attacks you with a meat cleaver. He is quite insane. You must fight him and take evasive action. By 10. The wild old man is screaming at you. He blames you for the war and curses the Kylords as agents of the Dark Lords. You will not listen to reason, and you must fight him. I win. The madman lies dead at your feet. 2 soldiers soon appear at the doorway and immediately congratulate you. They tell you that he was an escaped lunatic whom they had been tracking for the last 2 days. One of the soldiers gives you 10 gold crowns reward money, offers to escort you to the citadel. I accept the offer. It takes you nearly an hour to reach the citadel. When you arrive, you find the citizens of Homeguard are in panic and confused. The escort approaches the armored guards at the main entrance and tells them of the urgent message for the king. High number. The guards seem to believe your story and bow with respect to your rank of Kylor. One of them pulls a concealed bell rope, and the huge doors start to swing open. They usher you inside, and you hear the doors close behind you. The inner courtyard is a bustle of activity. Cavalry scouts are waiting beside their nervous horses for messages from the unit commanders inside the great hall. They take orders with great speed to the defenders of the outer fieldwork. No sooner do they gallop off than their other scouts return, many of them breathless and wounded. You have taken less than a dozen steps across the courtyard when you hear a deep voice boom out, "Stop that man!" Startled, you turn around to see a burly sergeant and two soldiers running towards you, their swords drawn as if to strike. You prepare to defend yourself, for it looks as if they are about to attack first and ask questions later. But suddenly the sergeant calls his men to halt. He recognizes your cloak. They put away their weapons and apologize many times for their mistake. The sergeant orders one of the men to fetch the captain of the guard as he leads you to the doors of the great hall. You are greeted by a tall and handsome warrior who listens intently to your story. When you have finished the account of your perilous journey to the capital, you notice a tear in the brave man's eyes. He bids you to follow him. You walk through the splendid halls and corridors to the air path. The richness and grandeur are a wonder to behold. You eventually arrive at a large carved door guarded by two soldiers wearing silver armor. You're about to meet the king. You enter the chamber of state, a magnificent hall decorated lavishly in white and gold. The king and his closest advisors are studying a large map spread upon a marble plinth in the center of the chamber. Their faces are lined with worry and concentration. A silence fills the hall as you tell the death of your kinsman and of your perilous journey to the citadel. As you finish your story, the king approaches and takes your right hand in his. Lone Wolf, you have selfless courage. The quality of a true Kai Lord. Your journey here has been one of great peril, and though your news comes as a grievous blow, the spirit of your determination is like a beacon of hope to us all in this dark hour. You have brought great honor to the memory of your masters. For that we praise you. You receive the praise and heartfelt thanks of the entire hall, an honor that brings a certain redness to your young face. The king raises his hand, and all the voices cease. You have done all that Summerlin could have asked of a loyal son, but she is greatly in need of you still. The Dark Lords are powerful once more, and their ambition knows no bounds. Our only hope lies within Durinor, with the power that once defeated the Dark Lords in an age ago. Lone Wolf, you are the last of the Kai. You have the skills. Will you journey to Durinor and return with the Summer Sword, the Sword of the Sun? Only with that gift of the gods may we crush this evil and save our land. If you wish to accept the quest of the Summer Sword, begin your adventure with Book 2 of the Lone Wolf Adventures, Fire on the Water.